The kind of interesting thing here, though, is that the Jordanian foreign minister has come out with a statement which, in parallel with the Lebanese government saying that they want to implement 1701 and probably actually have the best opportunity they ever will have to do that, the Jordanian foreign minister has come out with a pretty strong statement against Netanyahu.
The Israeli Prime Minister came here today and said that Israel is surrounded by those who want
He started talking before he even fucking positioned himself. Look at him.
The Israeli Prime Minister came here today and said that Israel is surrounded by those who want to destroy it, an enemy. We're here, members of a Muslim Arab committee mandated by 57 Arab and Muslim countries. And I can tell you here, very unequivocally, all of us are willing to, right now, guarantee the security of Israel in the context of Israel ending the occupation and allowing for the emergence of a Palestinian state, independent state, along the efforts that we all agree. He is creating that danger because he simply does not want the two-state solution. And if he does not...
Why does he sound Scottish? Why did he sounded Scottish there? That danger.
The emergence of a Palestinian state, independent state, along the efforts that we all agree. He is creating that danger because he simply does not want the two-state solution. And if he does not want the two-state solution, can you ask the Israeli officials, what is their end game? Other than just wars and wars and wars. I'm telling you, all of us in the Arab world here, we want a peace in which Israel lives in peace and security, accepted, normalized with all Arab countries in the context of ending the occupation, withdrawing from Arab territory, allowing for the emergence of an independent, sovereign Palestinian state on June 4, 1967, lines with occupied Jerusalem as capital. That is our narrative. That is, and we will guarantee Israel's security in that context. Can you ask Israelis what's their narrative other than I'm going to continue to go to war, I'm going to kill this and kill that and destroy this and this that? The amount of damage that Israeli
this guy's fucking straight to the point, eh?
Government has done 30 years of efforts to convince people that peace is possible. This Israeli government killed it. The amount of dehumanization, hatred, bitterness will take generations to navigate through. So ultimately the question is, we want peace and we've laid out a plan for peace. Ask any Israeli official what is their plan for peace. You'll get nothing because they're only thinking of the first step. We're going to go destroy Gaza, inflame the West Bank, destroy Lebanon, and after that they have no plan. We have a plan. We have no partner for peace in Israel. There is a partner for peace in the Arab world, and that's why the international community needs to move.
Damn. The only problem is that the only problem is that this guy might be sincere. He seems like he is. The problem is that if you're Israel, you're going to say something like, they're going to give him the Begin line. They're going to say like, okay, what did you say? Guarantee.
Unequivocally, all of us are willing to, right now, guarantee the security of Israel in the context of Israel ending the occupation.
The thing is, like, if you're Israeli, your response to this will be like, I like guarantees, but I need a guarantee that guarantees the guarantees. That's what you're going to say. The problem is that it's not good for... He didn't say anything about right of return. Why are you inferring that? He didn't, he said 6-7 borders in Jerusalem. I guess the problem is that he did. When did he say right of return? Where did he say that?
And allowing for the emergence of a Palestinian state independent.
He didn't explicitly say it. Oh, so we didn't say it. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so he didn't say it. What the fuck? Okay. So I think the problem is that it puts Netanyahu in a pretty uncomfortable position because even if you don't think this guy can guarantee anything, and it might be like the fucking Arab, whatever you call it. What's it called? The Arab Peace Agreement? Fuck, I forgot what it's called. The 2002, what's it called? 2002 Arab Peace Initiative. Okay. If it's like the Arab Peace Initiative where the Arab League says, yeah, we're all agreed on this thing, but then as soon as it comes to negotiation, like only 2 people turn up and they're not even mandated by the Arab League because it's kind of like a troll. I guess the issue is that like, it puts Netanyahu in an awkward position because it's what he's saying about Bibi here is true. Netanyahu, even if it was a totally sincere request from the Arab world, Netanyahu would still be on the same track, which is not very good. It's like there's like a thing there when, I think Yossi Beilin said it, is that when Arab leaders offer peace, Israel's kind of just like, wait, what? They don't really know what to do about it. They don't know how to respond to that kind of shit. We know what he means by ending the occupation. Don't gaslight me. Scarlett, you might be. This is a country that's made peace with Israel. I don't know what the fuck you're talking. You might. Let's say you're right. Okay, maybe let's say you're right. Maybe he's secretly. Because I imagine if Netanyahu opened the door to a two-state solution, I imagine Abbas or whoever the fuck's in charge of it will probably never commit to anything on right of return. They'll probably never commit to a position like they did last time. That's very understandable. That I understand that they're probably going to do that, but it doesn't look great for like public speech matters. And I think people like Netanyahu just kind of snub this shit at their peril, because that is a question that needs to get answered one day about what happens to Gaza and the West Bank. And if Netanyahu is literally just sitting there saying no state, then he kind of does look like kind of a scum. He does look kind of like like a conqueror. I think the only reasonable Israeli position that you can have here is that they need to just like play ball with these things whenever they come up. Like you need to say, we want peace. We're willing to negotiate. If you can't do anything about these military threats that are obstructing that, say like Hamas and Hezbollah, well, we're going to fight them. But it's like it's the Rabin approach, right? Like you can fight terrorism as if there's no peace process, but you also have to pursue peace as if there's no terrorism. And Netanyahu doesn't really do that second half. He's kind of shite.
Welcome
this
to
is
today's
breaking.
Verified Live. Let's start with that breaking news in the Middle East, with the region on a knife edge, because reports from the US say Israel has notified the US it intends to launch a limited ground incursion into Lebanon. CBS, the BBC's partners in America, say they were told by an official that the incursion could start as soon as today.
Jesus.
In the past hour, President Biden has said...
Fuck's sake, that's early. I thought... Actually, yeah, American Intel said about a week to 2 weeks. And they said that last week. 2006 tier limited? Well, 2006 was 10,000 soldiers, wasn't it?
That he is opposed to any ground invasion. The Israeli defense minister had said that the next phase of the war against Hezbollah will begin soon. That was the quote he used in the last few minutes. Well, earlier in the day, he visited the Lebanese border, where he said Israel was ready to use forces from air, sea and land to achieve its objectives and ensure people who'd been evacuated from their homes in northern Israel were safe to return.
Is the UN going to condemn this? Bro.
Well, Hezbollah's deputy leader has insisted that the group is ready if Israel decides to invade Lebanon. In a defiant speech, he said the battle against Israel will continue. And in a separate development, Lebanon's Prime Minister said he's ready to deploy the country's army to defend the border area if needed. So let's take stock of where we are tonight. Let's speak to our correspondent, John Donovan.
What's your current assessment of chances of ground incursion? 50-50. It'll either happen or it won't. I think it's more like... What? Did Scarlett just tell someone to sleep on their nose? Oh no. Can we not? That's a probation, okay? I'm watching. Do you want to introduce yourself, someone? Who are you?
Yeah, I'm from Europe. I'm Shia. But my origins are from Lebanon, from the south.
Okay. How long have you been in Europe?
I was born here.
Okay. So when you say you're from the south, did you ever live there?
No, not really, but I was there for a long time when I was younger, like many times, but I never lived there.
Okay. So you're guessing your parents are from there.
If you don't mind me asking,
I didn't hear you.
if you don't mind me asking which village, I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours, because we're probably neighbors. Yeah, I'm also from the south.
Difficult. I'm not sure because I'm a little bit hesitant because it's somewhat a security threat. At least it seems to me.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Tell us
it's okay.
then. Tell us then. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay. So do you have? Okay. If you don't want to answer anything, just let me know. Do you know anyone currently in Lebanon?
Yeah, a lot of my relatives live there, but I
Okay.
think most of them are secure right now
Yeah, that's good. Same
or
here.
safe.
Yeah. What's the So again, if you don't want to answer, it's fine. Like, what are either yours or like people you know, like views currently on the situation with Hezbollah and Israel?
It is a tragedy.
A tragedy in what sense?
It's like a whole world collapsed for us.
With Nasrallah dying?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So what's his like significance to you? Like if someone didn't know anything about Nasrallah and asked you who he was, what would you say?
So I'm not so into all the details about him, especially. I know just about the organization. Um, and I think for most of his viewers, he was a charismatic leader. He was also always giving some um, perspective for the future, some safeguard for the Shia minority, especially for the south. And it always felt like Israel would never dare to infiltrate Lebanon because of Hezbollah. And so Nasrallah was like the personification of this whole idea.
So do you think the role of Hezbollah with Israel is to defend Lebanon against
Yeah, of
Israeli
course.
aggression? Yeah, okay.
To be honest, you may have a different opinion, but he was always cautious about expansion. He was always more focused about the Lebanese borders, and of course they had the Shiba
Mhm.
farms as a reason to stay in conflict with Israel, but the main focus was to project a threat to Israel that maybe not be fought so easily if they infiltrate.
So do you think if Hezbollah weren't there, Israel would they capture parts of Lebanon? Would they annex? Would they conquer? Like, what do you think they would do?
Actually, I think it's very difficult to answer because Israel is not alone in the world, right? So they cannot do whatever they want. This is not possible for them. They can do a lot, but not everything that they want. They would like to probably. I know you are probably in denial of Eretz Israel, this idea of a greater Israel that goes from the Nile or expands from the Nile to the Euphrates and Tigris,
Hmm.
and even to Mecca and Syria and I don't know what they want, but they are forces. I can even send you a link um, about this in Israel. Always there were always uh, um, factions who had this dream and are in the government right now. And this threat is really real for a lot of Arabs. And also, you have, um, of course, a lot of thirst for revenge because of all the humiliations that
Hmm.
the Arabs, how do you say, um, they lived through or witnessed.
When you say members of the Israeli government wanting the greater Israel, you're talking about Ben Gvir and Smotrich, right?
Of
Yeah.
course, and his friends from Amana, and what is the name of this old witch lady? I
Oh, the
forgot.
lady who goes on CNN and talks about how
I
settling
don't
is.
know if she was on CNN, but this woman is like a very powerful leader in the far right. And the right is really strong in Israel anyway. So, and they were always very strong. At least right ideas like Eretz Israel and other ideas like that. I'm aware that half of the population does not want to expand Israel, but the other half of the population want to expand Israel
Do you think
in Israel.
Netanyahu wants to expand Israel into Lebanon, like
I mean,
borders?
he would like to probably, but he will not be able to because he knows. I think of all politicians in Israel that have power right now, beside what was his name? I think Galant.
Hmm.
Netanyahu is the most reasonable and rational. What do I mean with that? I mean he has a goal and he thinks about the means to achieve this goal. A lot of the other guys like Ben Gvir and Smotrich, um, they are not rational, because if they would be in power or if they would have the lead, they were not able to achieve their goals because they are way too extreme. Something like Eretz Israel is not possible on the global stage, I think, at least, because it is hard to justify to the American public to expand in this capacity. If you would want to do something like Eretz Israel, you would have to do it in really small steps or with good, how do you say, cover, like the resettlement of Gaza. That might be even a good cover, at least in the eyes of the far right or the evangelicans. What was this name?
Evangelicals, yeah.
Yeah, in the US. This might be a good reason for those guys in the US, but not for the Democratic Party or other
Can I ask
factions
you a
in the
question?
US. And
Can I ask
without the
you a
US cover, it will be really hard to settle in such an aggressive way.
I'm going to ask you first, if that's okay. I was going to ask
Excuse me?
if you're saying that Israel can't really expand borders with just as much as they want because America would rein them in. Do you think Hezbollah attacking Israel gives them an excuse to do that, or would they just be more likely to do it without Hezbollah there?
Maybe some border areas, but not way deeper. You have two problems. Again, the international problem by doing this because it is really bad looks, but and of course the resistance and the, at least as I know, we are, you might say we are indoctrinated, but when we learn about the history, there's a good reason to hate Israel, at least from our viewpoint. There is no justification in our mind to allow a Zionist project to happen in our region, especially not in our lands.
If Israel didn't have any interest in Lebanon, would it still be worth fighting them because of what they're doing in Gaza?
That's the problem. We could, I mean, we saw that Hezbollah was not so interested in a real war. They were really hesitant. It was especially, I think, the reason why they even attacked Israel is, first of all, to out of solidarity, and to put some forces of Israel to the north, and so, how do you say, if you have a lot of load to ease some load from Gaza? This was the only reason why they did this. Like for the
I have a
looks, and
question.
also for true solidarity to the Gazan people, and also to force Israel to have some of their forces in the north, and so not be able to put all their forces into Gaza.
Okay, I have two more questions, and then you guys can ask whatever you want. If Israel wants the Nile to the Euphrates River, why do you think Israel gave up the Sinai Desert for peace with Egypt?
Because, as I said, it is, first of all, this was not the right. As I said, half of Israel is not interested into expansion. The other half of Israel is interested into expansion. So, and as I understand, is that also they always have to please the US, because I will ask you, do you think Israel can survive by its own?
It's a difficult question. They could probably last a good while. I think the
How
United States
long
helped
and
probably.
how? I'm really interested because
It's hard because when you say on their own, it's like, does that mean if like no one sells them arms? Because they like on their own, like if they're buying arms from other countries, does that mean they're on their own, or do you mean like no one will give them
yeah,
sell them or give them anything?
like imagine they have no support from the US and also no support from the American Jews.
And they can't buy arms from anywhere else. They can't buy arms from
No,
China or Russia.
they can buy arms from let's say Europe, even from the US,
Yeah, I think as long as they can buy arms from other countries and offer other countries some kind of service in forms of tech or intelligence or anything like that, I think they can probably get by. If no country sold them anything, if they were like, we're not going to give you any weapons, we're not even if you pay us, then maybe they wouldn't survive. But I mean, they'd probably nuke a few countries on the way out. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe, but I'm talking about sustaining, because as I understand, they are dependent by imports. They cannot sustain by themselves, and I think they are also not financially as strong as you may think, because while researching information about Israel, I noticed that a lot of their financial incomes are also generated by their strong connection to the US. Without this connection, I think they wouldn't be able to survive, or at least have this level of sophistication. A lot of the West Bank settlements are financed by foreign aid, or and also by foreign aid by evangelical Christians and also American Jew money. Without this money, I don't think they would be able to expand as they do.
Expansion would definitely be harder. I think in terms of them losing support, again, I guess the problem is that let's say they don't get any of that international support and it's much harder for them to defend their country. The fact is that Israeli Jews are not going anywhere else. They can't flee anywhere. So if the problem is that you can weaken them and make them and make it possible to reclaim them for the Palestinians or whatever. But I mean, those guys, they're fighting to the last man. They're fighting to the last person in the last street, to the last drop of blood. And a lot of Arabs would die in the process of that. So that's why it's like, even in that world, I don't think it's really worth it, you know?
You are talking about the Israelis right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if they would lose their support, of course, but why would you want to lose the support of the US? And also, I mean, the American Jews will not go away. They are there, and that's why they have support. But still, the diplomatic support of the US is really important for Israel. So it makes sense for them to do peace agreements with Egypt, even in with the cost of the peninsula, if they get therefore like stronger support by the US, because the US is also not interested in funding endless war for the Israelis. And I think it also puts a huge stain on them if they would do this for extended periods of time.
I know there's a lot of eyeballs right now on Iran and how they've been responding to the attacks on Hezbollah. How do you feel about the Iranian approach so far?
But just a second, what do you think about that? What I said, that it makes for Israel sense to please the US if it is not too costly for them.
Yeah, of course they need to keep their allies. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, so we are somehow on the same page on this.
I mean, that's no one would disagree with that. No one thinks Israel would survive with no other country in the world.
No, because you asked me why they gave up the peninsula.
Oh yeah, because I think
I don't think that they did this because they love the Egypts and wanted to give them a signal of love or something. It was just a calculated purchase.
Oh yeah. So so my position on that is basically that. Whoa, shit.
I'm sorry, it is a lot of.
Yeah, it's okay. So my position on this is that, I think Israel, regardless of what some crazy leaders like Ben Gvir or Smotrich or even Netanyahu, regardless of what these guys want, I think Israel values stability more than they care about conquering land outside of the rivers of the sea. So I think if Egypt was
Especially
willing to
yeah.
make, I think if Egypt was willing to make peace with Israel in exchange for the Sinai, they said yes to it. I think if Lebanon tomorrow said we're going to stop fighting you if you give us back like the Sheba farms and then we can just call it there, I think Israel would accept that as well. I don't think they would try. I don't think they would say no to that to conquer Lebanon. Yeah. Which is why I think that's why I don't really agree with Hezbollah's actions. But I was just curious about the question I asked about Iran, your feelings on how they've responded or to the last week of events.
It's of course very weak, but they are also not as strong as the US. They cannot do this war, and also they are politically really weak. How do you like no, not foreign, the politics that are in the country itself. How it is called? How is it called?
Domestic, internal.
Domestic, yeah. The domestic politics are really difficult right now. They are also really stained by the embargoes. Yeah, it's difficult for them, and also the new guy seems to want to be more diplomatic with the West. So it would be really bad optics if he would attack. I think he wants to ease the sanctions to Iran, and he's even how do you say, open for more investigations into the nuclear program. So I think he don't want to risk this.
Do you feel like it's understandable for them then, or do you feel more like it's a? I know some people are saying it's a betrayal. Is that what do you feel that?
I think they are all stupid, to be honest. And now you are asking about my personal view, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I think when all of those when it escalated in Lebanon, I think they should have attacked massively. Maybe not all out war, but they should have showed that Israel is how do you say vulnerable. But in general, I think that's a really stupid strategy that they do. All of those guys. I'm fiercely against Israel, and I think, but I don't think that you can do it with military force. I think you have to build up a really stable region, a very stable union, like a Levant union that is in some way very similar to Israel. You have actually to mirror them and be the stronger force, and then force them to give up this ethno-national idea of Israel. That's how I would do it, and I think it's not stupid. Like I'm concerned that he will be just a sellout. This Iranian guy, I forgot his name, something with P. I think he should be he should cooperate with the world, especially with the West, because they are dependent on imports, and especially when we talk about high tech or other stuff that you can only get from the West. You should cooperate. This never-ending antagonistic way of thinking is not really leading to something. I mean, they build up some. Sorry, did
Yeah, you can keep going.
out?
That's fine. Yeah, you can keep going.
Okay. So I think this idea of being always antagonistic to the West and never cooperate is really stupid and leads to nothing. I am aware that they build up strong forces around the MENA region, like the Middle East, with the Iraqi Shia militias and so on, and Houthis and so on. But I don't think that this is something that you can build on a civilization. You need more. You need a very strong infrastructure, and also I think this. I'm a actually more economic person. I think way more about economics, and I think there's a lot of capitalism or capitalistic structures in this region, and they are cannibalizing each other. And I think this is very stupid too. They just should unify, cooperate, build up strong infrastructure. I don't know if you are aware of this, but Lebanon has a lot of brain drain.
Yeah.
Most of the educated people go to the West and send money back. I mean, this is also a way financing a nation, but if they but as soon as they stop, it would hit Lebanon very hard. And I think this is not a good strategy. You should give incentive to people to stay in the region and
Hold on.
be part of the society and build up
Hold on.
industries.
Sorry. Okay. It like theoretically, yeah, sure, but this is like fucking like utopian fucking thinking, you know?
No, it is not.
Listen to me.
Hold on,
okay?
Wait. Before we get into
Is-
debates,
I'm
before we
sorry.
get into
That's okay,
debates,
I
I
will-
want to
I will
I
not
ask one more
interrupt
question.
you.
I want to ask one more question, then we can go. You guys can ask whatever you want. I was going to ask you someone if Hezbollah and Hamas or the rest of the Axis were actually able to liberate Palestine from the river to the sea, what do you think that society would look like?
I don't think that it would look like a very nice society, but also I can be wrong. I mean, it would be very bloody, I think, a lot of corruption. It would not be functional because that's not enough. I even think that Israel is maybe a key for strengthening the region, but there are, and you may be you may have a different opinion, but they are ethno-nationalists and racists, and they don't want to cooperate, and they are also hyper capitalistic, and they don't want to share resources, and they don't want to mix with other ethnic groups, and this is why I don't accept Israel, and I think and this is also the root of the hatred over the Zionistic idea. Muslims were always superior in this region, and it was a very bad hit when the Jews came and dominated.
Okay.
And also the West, after the downfall of the Ottoman Empire, it was very bad for the
Well,
self.
Arabs are known to become complacent.
Yeah. Okay. That's me. Anyone can ask whatever they want now.
Any
Whoa,
chance I could ask
shit.
first? Because I have to. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
you're just
guys.
very loud. Yeah. Okay.
Damn it,
Okay.
damn it.
You can
Muted my-
go first, and then me, Nick. I mean, if you're okay being asked questions by like 5 different people, someone.
It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I have to go in like 10 minutes. And
course.
so then, basic question, and I'm asking this to someone who's also Lebanese, right? Like, okay. 2 questions. I guess the first is that like do you think that the sole reason that Hezbollah was firing the rockets at Israel for the last 11 months in a way that was to an extent performative from our perspective, maybe the Israelis don't think so, but
Yeah.
clearly they fired more and aimed better if they wanted to, was also to sell this idea to Christians, to Druze, to Sunnis, that the weapons that they have are only for external use and are not for internal use, and are not used to impose their political will on the rest of Lebanese who might not agree with them on a given issue.
So I'm
think
not.
The reason that they
I'm-
did.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh no, sorry. Go ahead.
So I'm not sure about this because I don't know a lot about the contemporary politics in Lebanon, but it might be. When I talked with family members. They told me that at least after 2006 there was some sympathies for Hezbollah, but I think at least when the explosion happened in the harbor, it went a little bit down south, and also my father told me, and I heard about the Syrian war crimes, or however you want to call them. So since then, Hezbollah lost a lot of sympathies in the population. It might be that this performative, as you said, and I agree, this performative fighting was also to ease the tension between. Sorry, there's a lot of how do you call
I'm just
this?
taking him down. It's okay. It's Palestinian. He's muted himself. It's okay.
Okay. It might be also to give the impression that they won't fight the internal groups, but I am not. I don't know enough about the internal politics right now, and I'm sorry if there's a lot of fighting right now. It's a mess anyway.
Mina, do you want to ask the next question? So we're gonna move things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure, but I just want to answer one thing that he said, because like, and first thing, yeah, like, don't say sorry. It's not your fault in any way. I would just say that, like, look, like, I'll tell you what Hezbollah meant for my family at one point. It meant in the prior to 2000, right? It meant that my grandfather could die in the village where he was born in South Lebanon. So at one point, people's opinions were very different, even if they were Christian, especially if they're from the South. But they spent the last 24 years destroying that goodwill, and I really think that had they made a different decision back in 2000 and given up their weapons and gone into politics or done something, we would be in such a different place right now. And they chose to keep that trump card so that they could impose their will. And so that's how I see it. But like, yeah, trust me, like I'm like it's like, yeah, like as much as I have contempt and issues, I have a mixed relationship with the group. I kind of have to. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. This was, as I said, I think it's always difficult to tell because I don't know how big the threat by Israel or other forces are in the region. But I think the Arab world in general is not focusing enough in domestic infrastructure, politics, and I think redistribution of means of production and goods.
That's also true. That's also true. They did a lot of social spending, man. They did a lot of social spending for Shia.
But not enough. They should have put more. I mean, there's no electricity. I don't understand how this is even possible in this country. There is always sun. I might be wrong, but as I understand, you might be able
Not
to.
enough land to put like fucking solar panels everywhere when it's like such a densely populated area, and like all you have is like maybe rooftops, and that's not going to be enough for like the amount of people that live in Lebanon.
No, I'm not
on the roofs now. Actually, it's pretty interesting. There's been a huge surge in solar power. I'm not saying it replaces the need for power.
It's still not enough. Yeah, that's what I mean.
But I mean, as you are aware, Hezbollah was or is in an alliance with Syria, right? And Iraq, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you might be able to make a deal that you plant there some solar plants and get the electricity from there. And I'm an electrical engineer or computer engineer, so I can tell you that you don't need so much energy to power a nation. It is a lot of waste that is going on there too. Especially when I look into richer families, they have all kinds of shit and they're still using all over the place cars. Back in the day, before the war, there was a railroad system in Lebanon, and this is way more power efficient than cars. But they are not interested. As I said, this is the biggest problem in my opinion.
Do you understand why they're not interested?
Do
you not?
I don't know. Maybe to keep the people under control because they are always
people that are dissatisfied are easier to radicalize. Do you
Maybe,
understand?
but look at Israel. They are also
So
they have electricity. They have a lot of how do you say that they have goods. They have the means of production, and they are still actually really radical. So you
yeah,
can
because
do
they're under
radicalization
threat
by
constantly, pretty
indoctrination.
much. They
Sorry?
do, because they feel like they're under threat of like eradication constantly. That's what they feel like. They feel like they're constantly like have to watch out that like some fucking psycho doesn't fucking kill them. Like, like,
I mean,
do you not understand how that can also radicalize people? Like,
of course, I'm
like
from the ghetto.
every faction or like every group that is currently like fighting it against Israel and Israel itself are fighting fire with fire, and it's just they're just like radicalizing each other, and it's like super fucking stupid. There's no need for this. Really.
Yes,
Also,
of course, but I'm just saying that you don't need to keep people poor to radicalize them, because when I look into the US, you have a lot of radical
Hezbollah's
people
interest,
there.
though. It's in
I'm sorry?
Hezbollah's interest. It's in Hezbollah's interest for people to be radicalized, so they can like have them in their militant group. Like,
I'm not denying this.
yeah. So
But
like,
I'm not
why
sure if
would
you
they
need to keep them.
do all of these like why would they implement all of these policies that will take the wind out of their movement?
I don't think that Nasrallah is doing that though, or sorry, past tense was doing that. We're adjusting here. Like, look, generally speaking, yeah, like Nasrallah did a lot more social spending than any other group in Lebanon. The reality is that nobody
Yeah,
does social spending in Lebanon, and Hezbollah did it
Mhm.
a
yeah.
lot. It's the only place in Beirut, dude. Like, power is on in Dahiya, or well, not now, but it was. Like, yeah, like they opened like subsidized grocery stores. They
Yeah.
like did a lot of stuff to ensure that people were taken care of, and everyone vilified them for it when that's what the state should be doing. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, yeah, like it's just like that's the one thing that you can't get them for actually. That's
And
the one thing that they
Okay,
did right.
let's say these social policies, right? If they were actually as effective as you say they would be, wouldn't they also have like a lot of popularity in other groups that aren't just Shia?
What group do you think they go to?
yeah.
Like it firstly goes primarily towards Shia, but yeah, other groups can
Exactly.
benefit tangentially, and as a like yeah, like they're not doing it out of the
It's
kindness of
sectarian
their heart.
bullshit. Yes.
Yeah, like they're doing it because it's prudent. You're right, but every other group could do this too, and they like
Yeah.
I don't know, like
So
it's just like
The thing is with Arabs, like this is not just a thing in Lebanon. They are very corrupt all of the fucking time. Like a lot of Arab governments are corrupt all of the fucking time.
yes, but I thought we were talking about Hezbollah
Yeah,
and
do you
their
think they
influence.
don't engage in corruption?
Yeah, they do, but no, I just wanted to point out you don't need poverty to radicalize people. I mean, Israel has the biggest army, I think, in this region after Turkey.
Yeah, because they have conscription.
Yes, so you have other means to radicalize people. You can get people to fight for you even
Yes,
if they
there's
are
other
not
ways of
poor. And
radicalization. However, if you have like let's say Arabs living or Shia people living in Lebanon, right? And I guess Israel like isn't like Israel I don't think would attack Lebanon if Hezbollah wasn't like actually attacking Israel. Like this is like
I mean,
really really stupid.
okay, but the reality is they don't need to spend all this money to like sure, you can have a like wide discussion about radicalization in the region in general, but the
yeah,
reality is in 1978 when they and this is coming from someone who is not very pro Hezbollah, like not pro Hezb at all. But the reality is like from earlier perceptions of Hezbollah in 1978, Israel attacked, right? Hezbollah didn't exist. They attacked Lebanon because of the PLO being there, which the reality is that has nothing to do with Lebanese people who are just there, civilians just chilling.
Yes.
They get fucked over by Israel. 1982, same situation, and that's when Hezbollah started in reaction to that, for
Yeah.
large part. and that's where their popularity initially stemmed from. Post-Civil War, right, the minority of, like, the Shia minority was very kind of historically underrepresented in government.
Yeah.
Like, the Sunnis at least had some representation. The Christians
it was mainly
largely dominated
Christians.
government.
Yeah.
So, you know, obviously their popularity within Shia people, like, it naturally rose up because there were all of a sudden someone actually with power representing them. And
Okay.
then same goes in 2006. You can have a discussion about that, whether the kidnapping of the soldiers, whatever, led to the war, etc. Like, sure, post then there is a discussion, but the reality is, like, the whole
Also, the
inception
thing
of
with the
Hezbollah is,
PLO, clearly, if like, clearly, if the PLO wasn't an issue, like this, I don't think would have happened either. This, like, everybody likes to blame. Like, I can't fucking believe I have to fucking defend Israel, but like, everybody like gives the blame on Israel when in reality, like, they were refugees coming into the like region, and like, I just don't understand
this
how
is
like.
not wrong. It's not wrong that the Jews fled Europe because of the persecution, but
So it's okay to like try to oppress them?
no, this is also not correct. And I think this was the biggest mistake that the
Obviously,
Muslims and maybe
yeah.
even the Christians did when the Jews arrived. But as I understand, at the beginning there were not so many conflicts. It started when the amount of refugees, I mean, you have to imagine, I think it was 200,000 people there before, and then another 200,000 people came, and they did not want to, I hate this word, but they did not want to integrate. They wanted to found their own nation, and the idea was also to have a ethno nation, so a predominantly Jewish nation. And this is, I think, the biggest conflict in this whole story. If they would have came and just wanted to live there and to integrate and all, you are right. The Muslims and probably the Christians try to oppress the Jewish minorities or all dhimmi groups, and I think this is wrong.
Yes.
But by enforcing your own ideology by just arriving into a region that was very, very, very different before, can go only wrong. And I know LonerBox
They
has a
didn't
different
enforce their
opinion.
religion as soon as they arrived, though.
I did not understand, sorry.
I said they didn't like try to like push their religion on other people as soon as they arrived, though.
The Jewish
Like
people or who?
Yes.
They did not want to, yeah, they did not try this,
Right.
but their idea was very clear. They wanted to found a
Yeah, they
Jewish
wanted
nation.
a state for themselves because they didn't trust any other state to actually properly take care of them because of obvious
They may
reasons.
have the best reason to do this, but it does not change anything for the people that lived there. It was a region you could walk around, as far as I understand, easily from Turkey to Mecca through Jerusalem, and then it was not possible anymore, at least in some areas, because the Jewish community wanted to found a nation, and from the perspective of the locals there, it was not just. They did not this idea of nations did not exist in this area before. This was a very European idea, and you cannot, at least I think, you cannot assume that people just will understand everything,
Dude,
every new ideology.
do you realize that the
New
Palestinians
important.
would not have had an own state anyways? Even if
I'm not
let's
talking
say,
about the
let's say
Palestinian state. I'm not talking about the Palestinian state. I'm just saying that
we're literally
before.
talking about nation states right now. What do you mean?
No.
Dude,
I'm not. No. I'm.
th-
You say
they would
that.
have gone to like the Palestinian like area would have gone to Assyria, wouldn't it have? Like, isn't that what
I
would
don't
have
know
happened
if this
or
would
not?
have happened if the Europeans would not have been there. It was Ottoman Empire, and before that it was different. I will say Islamic empires and or caliphates. And for some time it was Christian, and before that it was Jewish, and before that it was Egyptian or Canaan or whatever. But this idea of nation states did not exist, and you, as an immigrant or as a refugee, come with your group and you try to impose this new idea to people who have no. I mean, there were Christians, of course. There were Christians, intellectuals in Palestine. They also called themselves Palestine around 19th century or something, like 1900. But in general, they did not understand this idea. And then the Jews came, and they just from the perspective of the Christians and the Muslims there, they wanted to found a nation state that was exclusively for Jews, or at least it should have at least a majority of Jews. This idea was foreign to the people who lived there.
Okay.
You had. Sorry.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't really want to go into a tangent
wrong?
about. I don't really want to go into a tangent about Mandate Palestine. Does
No,
anyone have any? Does anyone have any other questions about like referring to right now with Hezbollah or like the Lebanese Shiites or anything like that? Mina, Squirrel.
Like, okay, for right now, I feel like Hezbollah has been asking for it for fucking ages, right? Like, this is like, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Obviously, I feel bad for like every other Lebanese like people that are there that don't have anything to do with this. And I don't agree with like Israel like randomly, I don't know, airstriking random areas if they don't actually know that there's like something there.
I just think you end up in a argument like that.
The war with Lebanon is like obviously a completely different ball game than like what they did in Gaza. What they did in Gaza is like unacceptable. I think that like they need to like really hone in their like rules of engagement. Like if they actually want to do a ground in like if they're doing it right now, but the ground invasion, like they need to like fix their discipline issues.
But they won't. Even just from the bombings, they've already killed like what 1,000 people so far in Lebanon. I can guarantee you that probably not even half of those are Hezbollah militants. Like that's just it's just the reality of like the way Israel. I mean, it's their doctrine. Their doctrine is to go in with excessive force and try to effectively beat the shit out of the civilian population. Like I'm not saying like again, I'm not a fan of Hezbollah, but the reality is like
the thing is, right, this has been probably the most successful and effective like would you I guess war or like military operation that I think has ever happened in the Middle East. They've pretty much cut off the entire head of Hezbollah in like what, less than like I don't know.
Like
it was
week.
like a week.
Week and a half.
Yeah, a week. It's fucking crazy. It's just fucking insane. Like if it went any other conventional way, way more people would have died.
Okay, so the comment, the basic comment there was that Hezbollah, they fucked around, they found out, they played stupid games, they win stupid prizes. Someone, what's your comment on that?
Yeah, as I said, I think they should have attacked way more heavier before, or just like it's a fucked up situation because, as I said, at least my peer group is absolutely against this idea of Israel, and it is absolutely unacceptable how the Palestinians are treated, and therefore it's hard to just watch. I mean, they could have just stayed out, but it is so toothless to do nothing. But on the other hand, if you do something, Israel is just way stronger. And without the support of Iran, it's very difficult to impose a broader war to Israel. So
So do you, when you
Why?
say,
Why
were you saying
would you
that
want
Hezbollah
to?
should have fired heavier and earlier? Is that what you were saying?
because they started,
Uh-huh.
and then some of the leaders got killed, Iranian leaders in Syria, and I think one of the commanders of the Redwa forces.
Mhm.
And I think then they should have destroyed something just to give some reason to back up for. It's difficult because Israel can basically do anything they want with Hezbollah because in the West they have the support for it, and in Israel they have the means to do it. So it's very, 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 very difficult. I think if I would have been in Nasrallah's situation, I would not have attacked Israel at all because
Oh yeah.
it was not the right time to do it. And as
No.
I said, I don't think that that
What? Okay. Okay.
militarily it is
Dude, do you not
realistic.
understand? Do you not understand how any like foreign policy works to actually for it to be effective? Like Loner has also said this before. Just because you disagree with something a different country is doing, attacking them is not like
As I said,
is not valid.
I would not have attacked them. I would not have
Not
attacked Israel.
attacking them at all should be the policy because like
No, it is not the policy because you can
it's
look at
stupid.
Venezuela. Venezuela gets attacked by the US via sanctions and other diplomatic
Oh my
ways.
God.
So
Okay, wait.
Sanctions.
Just to clarify, so
Sanctions.
it sounds like your position is like if you were in Israel's position, you wouldn't have attacked Israel at all in this situation, but there might have been another time, a better time to do it, right? Is that kind of what you're saying?
I would
don't-
have forced like if I would have any saying in this region, I would try to build up a strong union in the Levant and even to Iraq or maybe Iran, ease up the social oppression of the population, building up strong nations. I don't like
This
nations.
is okay.
So
This is like
can I just
diaspora. This is like diaspora. Like I don't know, fucking wishful thinking. The Pan-Arabism
No, it is not
is
wishful.
not as strong as you think it is in
Who?
the region. Pan-Arabism is really not as strong as you really think it is. Like people don't
I don't
really
agree with that, and I can give
know,
you a
but
good
people.
reason
Oh
for
my
this.
God, are you serious?
If you, of course, I mean, there is this
What?
dream by
No,
all Arabs to
no.
unify. Even the Islamic world has this utopian wish thinking to unify
Under
the
one country or what? Are you
Okay,
serious?
hold on. Before you continue,
not
let me
one
guess you.
country. It is not one country. You
Someone,
can imagine it like the EU. There was a
someone.
time
Yeah,
in the
there's already the
EU.
Arab. There's already the Arab League, isn't there? Like,
There's-
But they are
what do you
all
mean?
enemies to each other.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna tell you. Do you think that our Pan-Arabism didn't work because Israel exists?
It's one
It's
of the reasons.
No, okay,
Absolutely not the reason.
okay.
That
you-
might have been the most unifying force for
Yes,
Pan-Arabism.
that
Actually,
is literally
that is
the
absolutely
reason
not
for
the
them to
reason.
unify.
Like
Yeah.
it is no. Okay, I literally
Okay,
wrote an essay about
just one
Pan-Arabism.
second.
One second. Pan-Arabism is like in terms of like politically, the problem is that Arab countries compete as much as they may talk about these ideas of uniting. Even like when it comes to trade, when it comes to all these different investment, etc., they're competing in every single one of these. So the dynamics, like you can talk about Pan-Arabism as this like amazing idea that you would love to go for and everything. It just won't happen. And I'm saying this as someone who like, sure, in an ideal world, I would love it to happen too, but it just won't. And
Right.
that's just reality that we
I
exist in right now.
I don't agree with that because
Well,
if you
you
look
don't
into
agree because you don't
history-
really know much about it.
Yeah, it's because you are living in Europe and you like have like this weird rose-colored glasses about Arabs fighting together and Muslims
it's
being
not.
together and
No,
doing
don't-
whatever.
that-
I
I'm
don't
not
bla-
talking
hold-
about.
Yes, it
I'm not
is.
talking about
Hold on.
some super army that is fighting the rest of the world. I'm talking
It's-
about let's
Can I just
look into
let me
history.
just say
Yeah.
something. You might have this notion because I do see this abroad. Arabs in diaspora, all of them have this sort of joint one type of group of people because they feel othered by the people, other groups of in Europe or America or whatever, and that's probably why this thing you have in your mind exists. Once you come to the Middle East, I'm sorry to say, at every opportunity, each Arab country tried to betray
No,
them.
I'm aware of that. My family is racist. They hate Palestinians. They hate Syrians.
Okay, there
they
you
hate
go. I'm sorry, but I'm
Iraqis,
not gonna try
so
and
on.
be in one
No,
country.
I'm aware
with
of
people
this.
that hate me.
Turkeys hate Arabs. Indonesians have basically not a lot of to do with the rest of the Islamic world. I'm aware of all those things, but I would like you to listen to something.
I would love an idea of a big Arab
No,
state. Yeah, sure.
I'm not talking
But
about that
it's
it
like
will
yeah.
happen or
utopia.
something. You asked me what I would have done with Israel. This was the question. I would never have attacked them. If I would have a say in this region, I would try to build up a union, strong economics, and then try to push Israel to join this union. This is the idea. I'm not talking about this will happen. You asked me, or LonerBox, or whoever asked me, how would I have approached the Israel issue? This is how I would have done it.
Like,
This is not what will happen, or that it will happen, or there's a
I can't
guarantee.
believe you're like. I'm guessing you're like German. I can't believe you're like German Lebanese diaspora, and then say like the Israel issue. It sounds so fucking bad. Please stop.
Hey, it's
Israel
better
issue.
than It's better than Palestinian German saying that. Okay.
Okay, no, but I would like you to listen to something. For the longest time of the Islamic history, Islamic nations are way younger than Islamic caliphates. Is that correct, LonerBox?
He's not with you. So.
I mean, even if it is correct, that doesn't matter. Like,
No,
it's okay.
no,
Sure,
because
sure.
I don't like
existed
this
for hundreds
this
of
way
years.
of
but that
thinking. This is impossible, blah blah blah. Because if you approach things like that and they happen,
I'm gonna do. Hold on. Sorry. I'm gonna cut this short. I'm gonna do what I did on the beach. I think LonerBox wants you all to fuck off, so I'm fucking off, and you can take that advice whether you like it or not. Bye.
what's going on?
Last comment, just since you love Hezbollah so much and everything. Hezbollah has killed way more Arabs than they have even come close to in terms of killing Israelis. That is the last thing I want to say. Anyone who uses them as a representation of anything that is good for the Arab world is just absolutely deranged and insane. If anything, we should just ship the entire Hezbollah hierarchy back to Iran, and I think that's the best solution. And they can go back there because they're pretty much Irani loyalists, and they couldn't give two shits about Arabs, and they've killed way more of them than Israelis. So even if you see them as this amazing resistance, it's just not true. Anyways, all right, goodbye. Have a good day, LonerBox.
Someone, do you want to respond to that?
I'm a little bit confused. When did I say that they are amazing and?
I mean, you
I don't know
support
why
them to
you
some
think
degree,
so.
definitely more than anybody else that was in this VC.
I did not understand you. Sorry.
I said you support them to some degree, definitely more than
because
anybody
they
else in this
represent my
VC.
interest. If you ask me as a cosmopolitan, I might say no, they are not good or whatever. But they are different
represent your
interests.
interest. Do you know what their interest is?
As I said, like when I'm.
They do not want Israel to exist. They want to have a border with Palestine. That's their whole fucking shtick.
So what? I don't understand why.
Do you understand the implications of that?
There are 1,000 different ways how it plays out. Tell me your idea of it.
Wait, someone you support Hezbollah, bro?
They've been shooting at northern Israel for the past 11 months, almost a year.
Yeah.
Also, indiscriminately, the civilians have been hurt. Civilian infrastructure has been damaged. A lot of people had to fucking evacuate. And now you're talking about how they're representing your interests. Is this what your interest is? You said you don't support, you wouldn't have done it like that, but clearly you would have attacked Israel at some point.
I never. Did I say that? I said actually the opposite. I think I think there should be a way to force Israel to give up the idea of the ethno state, and they should,
Yeah, I don't support
in
the
my
ethno.
opinion,
I don't
they
support the
should
ethno
just
state either, but
join
that's
their
something
neighbors.
that needs to be done via policy, not via like fucking armed resistance. That's stupid.
No, I don't understand what policy. It sounds like how is his name? Destiny Talk. Why policy? Do you think Israel is always following policy?
Do you not understand?
No. Do they always follow policy?
They have their own policy,
Okay.
clearly, right? They have their own policy. That's what they're doing right now. Their policy right now is to make sure there's nobody that's threatening Israel or Israelis.
What did you mean with policy?
With policy, I mean that there needs to be representation in the Israeli government, or have a two-state solution where clearly, because one state is never gonna happen, and like status quo is not gonna fucking work out either.
Mina, I'm sorry. I have
What?
difficulties to understand what you even want from me. When LonerBox asked me questions, I felt way it was way easier to me for me to answer those questions.
What?
It's 'cause I'm, like,
What do you
interviewing him.
want?
What do you not
Do you
understand
want
what I'm saying?
a two-state solution, and you want that all of the neighbors of Israel go to
Normalize? Yeah. Yeah.
keep peace, and this is how you want to solve this problem. It's okay. It's your opinion, and I think you can promote this idea,
Also-
and
also
I have a
controversial.
different idea how this problem should be solved.
Okay. I need to move on to something else. Spider, or sorry, Mina, do you have anything to respond to that before we wrap it up?
No, I think he's irredeemable. Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Spider, what are you here for?
Shit. Fuck this pro Hezbollah guy, bro. Like, who the fuck?
I
Who let this
fucked
guy
your ass,
cook, bro?
bitch.
Okay.
Fuck you.
All right. Bye, Spider.
Fuck this guy. All right, free Palestine.
What is this kind of talk? Why did you do this?
I don't know.
Yeah, free Palestine, bro. All right,
Okay. All right.
No,
Listen.
LonerBox, explain to me what is this kind of behavior?
What? He doesn't like Hezbollah.
Yeah, it's fine, but you can vocalize it in different ways.
Yeah, but you can also be rude. We have all kinds of different approaches here. We're not very
Okay.
formal.
I don't think this is. If you are such a peace-loving community, you should keep a nice way of talking. I think, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, well, peace is like, I think as long as we're not like punching and killing each other, it's probably okay. We can probably use words as much as we want. That's kind of the approach. That's our
I
red
don't
line.
know.
If anyone
I don't know.
actually takes it to the streets, that's a problem.
I don't know. I think a lot of those conflicts start with words.
Interesting. Okay. There's one more guy who wants to talk to you, I think. I don't know if you have any energy for one more. Okay, hang on. Sundowner. Do I have to unban him? Because he's banned. All right, wait, hang on. Fuck! All right, 1 second, sorry. Why am I stuck in this window? Why wouldn't it let me out? What?
Can I? LonerBox?
Yeah?
Your community is a little bit
Hostile?
hostile right now. So I will try to explain something to those guys. So I understand that your community has their view, but I think it's often one-sided. I have the impression that they cannot see the perspective of certain groups, and from the actually one of the discussions participator explained it very well. Hezbollah gave the south of Lebanon this feeling of safety, and they were always like a wall to Israel.
Are you
And
saying that I
think-
said that?
I'm sorry.
Were you saying that I
What?
said that?
No, it
Or-
was
okay.
I don't know who. I think the Palestinian guy.
Okay, yeah. I think they answered a lot of questions, and for a group that didn't have anyone else looking out for them, they did that for
Yeah.
the Shiites in Lebanon. But they
Yeah.
also dragged Lebanon into a war that didn't need to be fought. So this for that.
Yeah, as I said, I think I'm not a Hezbollah supporter in this sense, but I see them as a necessity for the safety of the South.
Okay. Sundowner, do you have any?
I mean,
How
that-
see it, and I
that-
talked for and I spoke for members of my community, if you will.
I mean,
When
yeah,
I when I explained,
uh,
sorry, yeah.
I understand that. Like, I know the, especially the communities in the south of Lebanon had it very rough in the early days. So, I understand where you're coming from. But today, do you think that the organization known as Hezbollah has a point to exist anymore? Like, should it exist? Believe it must. It's required.
I think their forces could be used. I think their but the political organization and their policies should change. I think they should how do you say dissolve and reorganize with other organizations. And as I said, the region has to focus on economics. It's very weak in all of those countries. Even if you think in nation states, they have to focus on economics and infrastructure. They have nothing basically. And so therefore also like 7th of October, I think it was a huge mistake to do this.
So, do what?
Sorry?
Do what?
To attack Israel in this way.
I mean, if they attacked in a different way, would you still endorse it?
I
Like what? No. I
think
just want to
as
see.
long as you are as weak as you are, you should not do it. And if you don't need to attack, you should also not do it. So therefore, you don't. Hamas should never have attacked Israel, but of course they have their own agenda and they are not really interested in progress for the Palestinian people. They have this idea by making promotion stunts all the time that the Palestinian cause will happen someday, but this will not happen this way. And also, I don't think that over peace negotiations it will happen. Israel stated many times that they don't want a Palestinian state. And also, I will not accept an ethno state. I don't accept a state that says about itself it wants to be the nation of the Jews. I don't accept this. And historically, it does not fit into this region. This racism is really new. This is 120 years old or something like this.
Wait.
There was tribalism,
What do you mean
but this is
racism
different.
is really new? Like, you are a South Lebanese Shia. You know all about the racism that was in the region for centuries.
Tribalism, but this is tribalism. Okay, this is also
No, not just tribalism. Like, you know about the mountain war between the Druze and the Maronites, for example. That was really fucking bloody and mostly influenced by what can be described as a form of racism, yes.
sorry, I did not understand the last part.
You said the mountain wars between the Druze and the Maronites in the 1860s. Well, yeah, that would be driven by what can easily be described as a form of racism. Yeah, before Zionism. You know, when the Druze killed like a bunch of Maronites
Yeah, I don't know. I think the
Well, to
Muslim
be fair, you
Brotherhood
might
was
killed a bunch
founded
of
by a
Jews.
Pakistani guy. So,
Fake news.
Sorry?
Nothing. It's okay. They died in
No,
friendly
no,
fire.
was it or not?
No, the Druze died in friendly fire. I'm sorry.
Yes,
I'm trolling. It's okay. It's all right. Yeah, you go.
Yeah, like even
I
for
don't know.
example,
I don't know if I don't know about this war. I'm sorry. I don't know
I mean,
every detail
okay, so
about this
maybe
region.
something you
But
would know
as I
about.
understand, there was the possibility to go through the lands. I'm not talking about some utopian Islamic caliphate or something like this. I'm just saying that this extent of borders is new.
How is it like these borders? Can you elaborate on that? I don't believe I understand you properly.
I'm sorry, I did not understand.
What did you just say about the borders? I don't believe I understood it.
The
Do
what?
you mean as in there are many Balkanized states and such?
What I mean is that there were routes you could go through, as I understand. I might be wrong, but for instance, the Muslim Brotherhood was founded, I think, by not Egyptian people. They went to Egypt and promoted their ideas, and so the Muslim Brotherhood or ideas of the Muslim Brotherhood developed. So
How is that
those
relevant to the
those
borders?
strong borders, or I can just give you an example. My uncle is Egyptian, but he's actually not Egyptian. He is an ancestor of Turkish people. His family came from Turkey and settled in Egypt. And when you look at Turkey also, there are a lot of Kurds. Why there are a lot of Kurds? Because Kurds
yes,
live in this
if your
region.
point, sorry to interrupt you, but if your
Sorry?
point is that the borders are not like perfectly aligned with the ethnicities or that
No, I don't
something is arbitrary.
I don't think that the borders. So, do you think this kind of borders would have happened if the idea of nation state would not have imported from the West, or would not have made its way from the West?
I mean, when you put it this way, yeah, like the borders would have definitely been very different, but there is a reason why these ideas came, and not necessarily from the West. Like people here embraced them, and that's for a reason, for a very good reason. Because as much as everyone in the region has to admit it, we don't exactly like each other everywhere. For example, a Syrian from Idlib would fucking hate the guts of anyone from southern Lebanon. They are celebrating what is happening. But, so, like, yeah, the borders do not happen the same, but there's a reason why they happen. For example, the Maronites, when Lebanon was first formed, they rejected to be part of Syria, despite being part of the mandate of Syria. Like, they wanted to be their own state, because the last time they had Muslims ruling the country, they had a fucking famine. You know, so yeah, had we not had the ideas of nation states, we would not have these borders, but we have the ideas of nation states for a very good reason. And I'm not defending ethno-states or nation states. I do not agree with them. I do not believe they are feasible anymore, but they existed for a reason, and we must recognize that.
That things happened is undeniable. The nation state were founded, and people believed in those ideas, and maybe still believe in those ideas. This is undeniable. I'm just saying that before that, there were no nation states as we understand them today. There were regions which were partially governed autonomically, I think is the name. For instance, the Kurds, they had their own region. They were governing this region for themselves. And of course, there were like soft borders, and I think also that not everyone could move from one place of the empire to the to another place of the empire. But this idea of like there is a wall between Palestine and Israel. Do you think there was a wall between any region, like broader region, before the founding of Israel? In this region between between like the Kurds and the Syrians?
I mean, depending on what you define as a wall or as a border,
A
at
wall
times
like
there were-
in Israel.
like as in a border that people would have a hard time crossing or
Yes,
navigating through.
a very hard time to cross.
I mean, there were some of those in the West Bank for a while, especially in the 18th and late, early 19th century. But yeah, it was nothing to this extent. And I mean, yeah, it was part of the same empire. But at the end of the day, each region, it's its own region. If what you are advocating for is some sort of a regional European Union-like federation, or like an open border policy between the states in the region, then yeah, I actually endorse that. I do not disagree much. There's nothing I can add.
I'm not saying if this is good or bad. I'm just saying that it is different now than before. I think this state of the region is way more different than for the longest time before. This is at least my impression when I see the influences of the caliphates and the empires. Now it's way more fragmented, and also the fragmented nation states are also inside fragmented. In Iran, there's I think autonomous Kurdish region. In Iraq is an autonomous Kurdish region, and so on. And between the nations, there are harder borders than before. This is what I say, and I have the impression that this idea of national identity is now stronger than before. As I said, a lot of people in Lebanon, I don't think they are all Phoenician. I think a lot of people have European ancestors, Turkish ancestors, Syrian ancestors, Iranian ancestors, maybe Turkish, and so on.
Sorry, I think I lost the plot. What's the point?
I'm just saying that this idea of nation state is just a new thing, and this idea of national identity or group identity, at this extent, is new.
Okay, I think you made this very clear, but I don't know what's like the overall point you are trying to make by.
I don't know how we came to this point, to be honest. I just said that it makes sense to focus on economics in this region. This is what all I wanted to say.
Yeah, I got that vibe. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Do we have any final thoughts from you? Sundowner, you can go first, and then someone, and then I'm going.
I just wanted to know what's his exact position on what should happen in Lebanon now.
Oh.
Yeah. So, are you asking me personally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think Hezbollah should maybe retreat. I think is this the word?
Yeah.
To Syria or Iraq. And I think Lebanon should ask Europe and the Arab states to come for rescue, basically.
Makes sense.
And
I mean, you sound very reasonable. Look, I will be very honest here. I saw Mina fighting with you. I thought you were some unhinged retard, but like, You are very reasonable. I don't know what I'm about to fight.
And I
So,
think also a
okay.
lot of people misunderstand Hezbollah. Also, they have their own logic. Israel has its own
I
logic.
understand
As I
now.
said,
Never mind.
Benjamin Netanyahu is not an irrational idiot. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows what the boundaries of his abilities are. Actually, most of the actors in the regions are very rational in their own logic.
I would not say
So-
that. I would be very careful with saying that.
Who is not so rational.
تنظيم الدولة الإسلامية.
I don't. Is this some guy from Lebanon?
No, fucking ISIS, for example. I wouldn't say they are rational. If you talk about
Yeah,
Jabhat
they are a
al-Nusra,
little bit
they are
wild,
not.
but even
Tahrir
they
al-Sham,
have
they
a
are not.
rationale.
If you want to talk about the Lions Den, they are not Hamas, they are not Hezbollah very much. It has
sorry,
been
who?
losing the plot for the past week or two. Basically, no one in the region is really rational. I don't believe so.
I mean, in their own logic, they are.
Someone yeah, that is like a terrible way of saying someone's like sane by saying in their own logic. Yeah, Hitler in his own logic is sane.
Yeah,
it doesn't
you-
fucking but that you shouldn't
Oh
say that.
God, no! Don't bite this
I'm
fucking
someone who
bullet.
believes in good and bad, and or
He
or
bit the fucking bullet and chomped on it. He didn't leave any pieces, dog.
Oh
He
my
swallowed
God.
the bullet. He didn't bite it.
Okay, listen. I really
Anyway,
appreciate
also,
you coming
someone,
on.
do you not speak Arabic?
نعم عم تحكي معه؟
So you speak Arabic. Why didn't you understand him about الدولة الإسلامية تنظيم الدولة الإسلامية
دولة اوكي ما فهمت عفوا.
خلاص حقك علي.
حقق عليه أردني. يلا السلام عليكم.
اسمع الصوت واصلك بحشي رجل طيزك اخلص.
ما استنانيش اجي اوصلك ولا
والله ما فهمت شيء. فهمت غلط.
Okay, fucking kill yourselves. All right, bye.
Listen.
Listen, okay. Thank you so much for coming on, someone. I appreciate the perspective. All right, take care, guys. Okay, bye, 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 bye. Unless anyone else has anything else to say?
Oh, did you all watch that Jordanian foreign minister interview or
Yeah, I did.
speech?
Good
what they
PR,
call it?
eh? Good Jordan moment.
Yeah, you know the only person in the Jordanian government I don't think is retarded is that dude. Like,
Yeah, he's smooth.
like
We'll see if the rest
yeah,
of the
like he's basically the only official that people here don't fucking hate. They think he makes us look smart.
Okay. The only thing is like he can say that as long as he wants, but it's like I feel like it's only good insofar as you can convince other relevant groups to go along with it, right? Because he can say, yeah, we'll guarantee all your security and all that, but meanwhile, we're Hamas, no, they'll keep on trying what they're doing. Hezbollah, they'll keep doing what they're doing. Houthis, yeah, it's one of those things. It's a guarantee,
Overall,
but it needs a guarantee.
I
You
actually
know,
like that dude.
he gives good guarantees, but
should get him on stream.
he needs you need to. I should, yeah, because he can give a guarantee, but at the end of the day, he needs a guarantee that guarantees his guarantees, and that's probably what's missing.
Yeah, the guarantees must be very guaranteed.
Yeah, and right now they're not. They're just guarantees. It's not enough.
Yeah,
Okay, listen.
makes sense.
Take care, guys. Someone, it was nice
yes.
talking to you.
Just a
Yeah,
second. I would like to request that we talk another time because I have some questions about your views.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. We can do that
yeah.
tomorrow or probably anytime.
Tomorrow? I have to take a look. I have
Just anytime I'm streaming. You can just drop in the waiting room up there, and then we can go from there.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so Loner, real quick, but regards to my status in the server and my ban, which I believe was a very legitimate choice and I do not dispute. However, I also believe that I have displayed a profound and genuine change of heart and change of attitude that came with it that qualifies me to return to the server as a productive and capable supportive member.
I don't know why it
Why
just
are you
sounds
begging?
so fucking insincere when you say.
Okay.
I
The
don't-
opposing console.
Listen,
okay?
I'll we'll probably have that'll be a whole session in and of itself. Okay.
Okay, so
There's so many
I
people in
Agree with
opposition.
everything about what Sundowner was saying.
You disagree with everything he said.
Yes.
Same.
Wow. Okay, listen, we'll think about it. You know, we might have a fucking what'd you call it? What'd you call it? The thing? Parole? Yeah, that. Okay. Anyway,
Oh no.
take care, guys. I'll see you guys when I see you. Okay. Probation. That's
goodbye.
it. All right, bye bye.
Bye.
Holy shit. Okay.